Hi and welcome. I'm Leo and today I'm going to show you how to upcycle an oversized blazer into a belted jacket with a high standing collar. I found this old blazer from my dad. It's from the 80s and it was way too oversized. It has huge shoulder pads, so I wanted to give it a completely new look in a super simple and beginner friendly way. This is definitely more of a quick and easy DIY method, not a traditional tailoring, so if you're a beginner, don't worry. We're keeping it simple and still getting a cool result. First, decide how long you want your jacket to be. Keep in mind that you also need some leftover fabric for the belt later. I cut mine slightly above the pockets, marked everything, and then cut it off. The sleeves were also way too long, so instead of fully opening the lining like a tailor normally would, I used a much easier method. I turned the jacket inside out and pinned a fold through the outer fabric and the lining fabric at the same time. The fold was about 12 centimeters long and 2 centimeters deep, placed roughly at the back elbow area. Then I simply sewed along the fold on both sleeves. This shortens the sleeves while creating a little detail at the back, which I actually really like. Next, I separated the lining from the piece that we cut off. From that fabric, we cut belt strips measuring about 140 centimeters by 10 centimeters in total. Since one strip wasn't long enough, I sewed two pieces together, right sides, and trimmed down the seam allowance. To sew the belt, I folded the long strip right sides together, stitched along the edge, and turned it inside out with a loop turner or a safety pin, and then top stitched all around to make it nice and clean, and don't forget to press. For the belt loops, I cut three pieces measuring 11 by 6 centimeters. I folded both long edges into the center, folded the strip in half again, and top stitched along both long sides, leaving the short ends open. Then I removed the shoulder pads to make the shoulders less wide and bulky. Because we cut off the bottom part, we need to reinforce the side seams because they can otherwise open up again. So we need to close these before closing the hem. To close the new hem, I placed the outer fabric and lining right sides together and stitched along the hem from both sides towards the center back with about a 1 centimeter seam allowance, sewing as far as possible on each side. Leave an opening in the center back of around 20 centimeters. This part can feel confusing because the lining is kind of folded outward while the jacket is twisted around, but once you sew it and pull everything back through, it makes sense. After you turn it right side out, you can give everything a good press, and later you can close the opening by hand. Now we can attach the belt loops. We place them right sides together onto the side seams and the center back. Now we stitch them down, fold them back up, and sew again so the raw edge is enclosed neatly. Then we fold over the top part and also stitch it down. Make sure to backstitch quite often so it stays in place. Now for the collar transformation, I folded the lapel up to create more of a standing collar and pressed it really well first because you want to remove the old fold lines as much as possible. Then it took me a while to choose a button because I have so many nice vintage buttons. And after that I marked where I wanted the button to be and the size of the buttonhole. In my case, the underside had a black contrasting fabric, which I didn't really like. So I copied the shape of the under collar and still had some leftover fabric and added seam allowance. Cut it out, folded all seam allowance inward with the iron and gave it a good press. And then I placed it onto the black piece and top stitched very close to the edge all the way around. It's a really simple method but gives a surprisingly clean result. Finally, I gave everything one last good press, added the belt, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial and I hope it inspired you to upcycle your own blazer. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or feedback. I always love to chat with you, and it would mean so much if you like this video, subscribe and follow along on Instagram as well. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day and see you soon.